We have triumphantly returned from our quest.
And we barely made it out with our lives.
Oh, what quest have you completed, brave adventurers?
We cleared all the boomas in Sector Level Alpha.
It was the bravest thing we've ever done in our lives. Say your prayers, Booma.
You know that's a level 1 quest. I can only give you 50 experience points for that.
The fuck, are you serious? Do you have any idea the atrocities we've committed?
So how much experience points do we need for max level?
50 million?
Fuck you!
Drink up, plebs. Just getting started.
Son of a...
When you think MMOs, you never really think consoles, right? MMOs are more synonymous as a PC genre. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, even as far back as EverQuest. MMOs have never been a console game. However, that changed for one generation, and that's exactly what we're going to get into. He's Crotto, ninja looting that booty since 1998.
He's El Zacco, world first level capped asshole.
And today, on Pouring Pixels, we're getting into PSO.
That is right. PSO. It launched initially in the year 2000 on the Sega Dreamcast. Now, Sega Dreamcast did have its online service right off the bat, so it worked out. But we're not going to talk about PSO on the Dreamcast. A year later, PSO version 1 and 2 came out on the freaking GameCube.
That's right. PSO, or expanded its Phantasy Star Online, is an MMO that was console-based, and it was developed by Sega. Not only Sega, but the Sega Sonic team. The same people that brought you fucking Sonic and Knuckles and Tails brought you this massive Japanese MMO.
Right, the director, Yuji Naka, as you said, he was the creator of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and he was the same creator of this game. Now, there was a lot of influence in the game that you'll see later on in some of the footage where you'll see things related to Sonic, to Knights, to Choo Choo Rocket, and you name it.
Right, a bunch of classic Sega games that you would come to expect.
Right, it had that Sega magic, that early 2000 Sega magic, late 90s Sega magic. It was amazing.
Right. Now, Phantasy Star Online originated on the Dreamcast because the Dreamcast was a Sega console. So developing the game meant that their console had first crack at it. However, when they expanded, started playing nice with other companies like Nintendo, and when it came out on the GameCube, there were a lot of things that had to be done in order for it to be playable.
Right, and as we have mentioned in some previous episodes, the Dreamcast had its untimely demise. So the sequel per se, or the extended episodes, the expansion you could say,
right,
of Phantasy Star Online, which probably would have come out on the Dreamcast, ended up coming out on the GameCube in 2001. Eventually, it also came out on the original Xbox. As you can see, we do have a copy of the original Phantasy Star Online for the Dreamcast, and then we have episode 1 and 2 for the GameCube, for the Nintendo GameCube.
Right, and that was really interesting. Instead of coming out with just a pure sequel, they did an expansion, traditional to MMOs. You have roughly 4 acts within the very original launch package of Phantasy Star Online, and then when you got into episode 2, it was 4 more acts. And that's things we see in a lot of other PC games that really just expand upon the title instead of just scrapping it and starting all over again.
Right, so originally when it came out on the Dreamcast, it had the easy mode, the medium mode, and the hard mode. There was a version 2 that came out also on the Dreamcast, which raised the level cap to 200, and it added the ultimate mode, which you could unlock at level 80. That ultimate mode was already available in episode 1 and 2 for the GameCube. It's basically a dungeon crawler / MMO. which once you have finished the storyline, the questing and everything, what you want to do is get the best weapons and hunt with parties, with friends, with strangers, you name it, and you're trying to get the best rares. And this game had some of the most creative, amazing weapons in almost any video game.
Right, it was incredibly expansive. Not only are we doing something very ambitious by putting an MMO on a console, but the game itself was crazy. Off the bat, you had up to 100 levels to get to, and there was loot consistent with every race and class and everything you needed to do. It was incredibly interactive. They did not cut corners when putting this MMO on a console. You had full typing capabilities. You needed a broadband connection. There were things you physically had to enable your console to do before they even allowed you to turn the fucking game on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. I used to live in Dallas back in the day when I used to play this game.
Right.
And lightning struck my apartment complex and my GameCube fried. I called Nintendo, they sent me another one, a refurbished, which is actually this one.
Okay,
it's
really?
the same one.
Okay, nice.
And they sent me a brand new adapter. As you can see, this is the broadband adapter, which you have to buy separate. And it was for dial-up.
Wow, and that's what you needed to actually play the game. So yeah, look at this. It's an actual modular modem that goes into the console so you can play this MMO. This kind of thing is unheard of. Right? We never had this before. Like as Xbox Live and PlayStation Network became platforms where this kind of connectivity was more common, Nintendo, as far back as the early 2000s, developed this to bring that MMO culture to the casual game.
Back in the day, you had to get your own modems, even for your computer. Sometimes you had to install your own modem. Sometimes it wasn't external, sometimes it was internal, but you know, whatever worked.
Searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online. Take a spin, now you're in with a techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
Back to some of the details with PSO. We're talking about the creativity of the weapons. There was so much good loot back in the day. There was things like the spread needle. There was things like the Black King bar, the Monkey King bar, the Lavis cannon, the double cannon, you freaking name it.
Something tells me you already have these weapons somewhere.
I absolutely do. The chainsaw, I mean, they were so wonderful. They were amazing.
Right.
They had like the funny weapons, you know.
Like a frog's tongue or some dumb shit. Like you're running around with like a giant flower or something. And it has more DPS than the most baller looking sword in the game.
Right. On top of that, like what was big in the 90s was Tamagotchi. Remember that?
Oh, right.
So this game had something called mags. You get a little robot that was level 1, and basically you would feed it different kinds of foods, like monomates, dimates, trimates, difood, you name it. Star Atomizer, a lot of this.
I don't know what the fuck any of those words mean.
It's just some of the items you get in game.
Right.
You know, they're healed, they're for MP, some are to remove stats, some are to res, and so forth.
So you had a Pokemon pet level Tamagotchi system that assisted you in combat, and every character had one.
Yeah, you start off and it follows you. You actually have to equip it. You can have different ones.
Right.
And this little robot, it just looks like it almost kind of looks like that robot from Destiny that's always following you around. What's his name?
Oh yeah, the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost. It almost looks like a little mini ghost. As you're feeding it and it starts getting like to level 50, it evolves. Now it'll have like power, you know, attack, defense, stamina, whatever. It'll have the typical MMO stats. And then at 200, by 200, it looks like something badass. Like a little cat. Like angel wings. Like a fucking bat, you know?
Yeah, like something that came out of a sarcophagus in fucking Egypt somewhere, right? Like some unholy deity came out and now it's following you around giving you fucking buffs.
Yeah, and if you remember when we were playing, it's got a like sort of a limit break.
Yeah, exactly. When you look into the interface, not only are you going to see your general stats like MP, HP, things of that nature, but you're going to see this bar that kind of curves up and fills up and looks just like a limit break. Now, in other MMOs, most classes have their big moves, right? And you're like, okay, you're talking about a cooldown. But there was something really aesthetically pleasing about having a bar that you filled up to do this ultimate move.
Yeah.
And see, that was a mechanic that was widely popular these days, but we didn't really see a lot early on. And that's why I keep going back to saying that this game was very ambitious. A lot of people put a lot of time, love, and energy behind Phantasy Star Online.
Right.
Way before its time, you have these eclectic pet systems, you have these really expansive weapon systems and spell systems, things that were really something that could have been simplified and they could have gotten away with it. They didn't. As a matter of fact, Nintendo, being a fellow Japanese gaming company with Sega, was so ambitious with this that they wanted the full MMO experience by allowing a full chat interface. But as you can see on these controllers, how are you going to type to somebody with a full ASCII interface without just thumbing over your cursor to certain letters?
Right.
Well, they had an answer for that, and the answer was literally putting an entire fucking full-size keyboard in the middle of a GameCube controller.
But yeah, you could definitely type with a controller. It just, of course, would take forever. They had lobbies. Inside the lobbies, you had chairs. You could dance. You had soccer games you could play while you were waiting, like, for friends to come in. In holidays, they would decorate. I mean, I know, like you mentioned, MMOs like World of Warcraft. Like when Christmas time comes around, they decorate the city.
Right, they have seasonal updates.
Right,
exactly. That are servering.
This game had the same thing. It had weddings, it had Christmas, it had Halloween, it had game events for like nights, like Sonic. Like you could see Sonic appear or nights in the game and some quests. They had a lot of crazy things.
So they had a lot of cross-referencing early, and all of these different things, and they had phasing and all kinds of different aspects that you see in the modern MMO happened 3 years before WoW on a console.
Right.
That's pretty amazing. And then, I know we're not going to talk about it too much, but there is a universe where that class system expanded with the real sequel, PSO2.
Right.
Now, we're kind of a little butthurt about this game because it's fantastic, it's amazing, it's seemingly bugless. The animations and the visuals are stunning. It's been out for years, and we do not have it in the United States or anywhere in the West whatsoever.
Right. PSO2 came out in 2013.
Yeah, it's already a 6-year-old game.
Yeah, and it came out only in Japan. They refused to release it anywhere else. Eventually, they did release it for Southeast Asia in English, which is a slap in the face for America. Yeah, and then eventually they canceled it. But Microsoft made a deal with Sega.
It's Sega.
With Sega of Japan. And they're finally, officially gonna, allegedly, I'm not even gonna say they are.
Yeah, we're not even gonna hold our breath on this one. Yeah.
My trust is not all there yet. You know, they need to turn it back, but they're gonna release it in March of next year, 2020.
But in the meantime, we got to enjoy PSO1 in the States, so we're gonna take what we had and just smile about it until we get something better.
This week for PSO episode 1 and 2, we decided to pair it with Elysian Space Dust. Get dusted with this beer, just like when you start Ultimate.
Oh, that's right. This pretentious fucking piece of shit right here comes from us from Seattle, Washington, and it features 3 different hops. We have Chinook, which is really going to give us a piney taste, a sharp dryness that it finishes with, and that's really indicative of the Pacific Northwest, where this beer comes from, right? But it doesn't stop there. When you first taste it, you get shit like citrus, right? They have a Citra hop, and then they have an Amarillo hop. An Amarillo hop, which I just learned, does not come from the fucking city in Texas. It's from the Panhandle. It's its own type of hop, which gives off more of a citrus-like orange taste. And you're gonna get a whole lot of that. This shit has so much going for it. When you first taste it, you really get hit in the face with all the citrus stuff. It tastes like a fucking pack of lightsabers. And then when you finally suck it down, it's that bitter dryness, like you're drinking a fucking cedar tree. That's consistent with most IPAs that you would see coming from that side of the world.
That is right. And look at that box. Fucking lovely. It looks like an OB Lily shooting Megan in your face and one-shotting you.
Look, man, I don't know what's going on with this little cartoon fucking dude right here, but it is on some drugs.
Yep.
It's the name Space Dust.
Look at the glitter. Look at those fucking stars. That's great. In fact, one of those fucking boxes tore when we were bringing it upstairs, didn't it?
Yeah, we actually broke a couple on the way up here. Just hazards of the job, right? Another thing you want to keep in mind with Elysian Space Dust is that this rocks in at 8.2%, right? That means that we're pushing the limits from a normal IPA to what they call an Imperial IPA, because this will get your world fucking rocked. Just like when you hit Ultimate Mode after killing enough level 1 Boomas in PSO.
Fucking Boomas. Get back, you goddamn Boomer.
Goddamn Boomer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had such a good time. That's going to do it for us. We're going to do better next time. He's been Crotto.
He's been El Zacco.
And you have been fan-fucking-tastic. Thank you for liking and subscribing.
Thank you.
Beat you, Boomers.
Fucking Boomers. All right. Tequila.
You weren't recording any of that, were you?